Hi, dual enrollment students. If you're watching this video, that means that you should be signed up for one of our in-house dual enrollment courses. And those courses are Principles of Management, Speech and Communications, World Civ 1 and World Civ 2, Principles of Accounting, and Strategies for College Success. So if you're signed up for one of those courses, you're in the right spot. And we're going to go over everything you need to know before those courses start on September 8th. So the first thing to know about your courses is that they follow the Springboard schedule. So that's really nice. That means that since our classes got pushed back until September 8th, that your Monco courses are also pushed back to September 8th. So you don't have to worry about having to start a course early. So that's really nice. You're also going to be working with Springboard teachers who have been certified by Montgomery County Community College to teach those college level courses. So you'll be working with either Ms. Pupo, Ms. German, Ms. Kepler, or Mr. Rudder on those courses. Those teachers should have reached out to you or will be reaching out to you shortly with information about what books you will need for those courses. You are responsible for purchasing your own books for those classes since it is a college class. You're also responsible for paying tuition for those classes. And since you are taking the class at Springford, you are taking it at a discounted rate. You're only going to pay for 1 credit, even though you're going to get 3 or 4 credits depending on the course you're taking for the course. So the amount would be $191 for the courses this year. And once you register for the course through Monco, you will then be billed for that amount. So look out for those bills coming in the mail after you submit your registration. They will also send it directly to the student's email, so you'll get it a lot quicker that way as well. Registration for these courses is mandatory. You are not allowed to take the course without actually registering for the course through Monco, so it's really important to keep that in mind. Registration is due for these courses by the start of classes, which is September 8th. We are here to help you with whatever it is that you need as far as registration is concerned. I am the person in the Future Planning Center who assists students with registering for their courses. So if you do need assistance with your course registration, my name is Trisha Benner, and you can reach me at tben with 2 N's at spring-ford.net. I'd be happy to walk you through that. We're also offering a workshop on Monday, the 24th, for students to be able to ask questions about the registration process and be walked through the registration process. But we are going to go through everything here, so hopefully I'm able to answer all of your questions even before Monday. So let me go ahead and hop onto the web here. Your first step is going to be applying to the dual enrollment program. So I'm going to go to mc3.edu/DEAP. This will take you to the page where you can actually create your account and apply to the dual enrollment program. You can see it's just asking for basic information, first name, last name, email address. This should all be information from the student, not parent information. So keep that in mind as you're filling it out. Every year I do have at least one parent who registers themselves for a class instead of their student. So you want to make sure this is actually your student information. Your address, your admit type, you're going to be high school dual enrollment. It does not matter what campus you're taking these classes at when it asks that question. Your start term is going to be fall of 2020. It doesn't matter if you're starting in the fall or the spring for this part. And when you get down to the bottom, it's going to have you create a password, confirm your password, create a password question. That's a security question, so you can access your account if you should lose your password there, and then a password answer, and then that will let you create your account. I do already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and sign in to show you what that looks like. So if you only did the first step and you tried to sign into this account, what's going to happen when you sign in is it's going to tell you that you did not complete your application. Would you like to complete your application now? So if you get to this stage and you see that you have the first 2 parts started, but you have not completed your application, that is why you would not have received your Monco ID number. The whole point of applying is so that you receive your Monco ID number and you can actually register for your classes. So the next thing you would need to do is click complete your application, or you could have clicked on one of those pop-ups that came up, and you are going to have to complete an actual application for Monco. So you're going to select the fall semester again. The campus does not matter. I'm going to select the central campus in Bluebell. You're going to be taking the course at Springford, so you will not have to go on campus. You do want to select that. Usually the reason why they ask this question is if you need any kind of support services. So students who do require any kind of accommodations like extended time on tests or anything that they would need additional help with that they might get through an IEP or 504 plan, they would need to make those requests directly through Monco. So usually you're selecting the campus that you would be talking to when you're making those requests, or if you were looking into any of these other services like advising and tutoring, that would be the campus you would go to if you need any of that. So that's why you're selecting a campus there that's not Springford. The next section is personal information. So again, pretty basic information. They should have this all transferred over from when you created your account. So if we look here, you can see they're looking for your address. Your address is important because they want to know where you live. If you were taking a course and you lived out of county and you weren't a dual enrollment student, you would pay extra because you get a discount for living in Montgomery County. So that all that information is important. All of our dual enrollment students do take courses for the same rate though. It's one of the deals that we worked out with Monco. Your contact information, again, should be the student's contact information. So please keep that in mind when you're filling this out. You want to make sure this is all the student's information. Again, residency, trying to determine if you are a Montgomery County resident. Determining your country of citizenship is important because they will need your social security number. So that is going to be a required field to submit this. You will not have an alien registration number unless you are not a citizen. So don't even click on that box. That is going to hold up your application if you attempt to type something in there and then leave it blank. So make sure that you're just filling out that social security number information and moving on. Your educational background. You will have to include your high school, so you want to make sure that you select Springford High School. I already have that in there. I'm going to clear it just to show you what it looks like. You are going to need to search for your high school, and what a lot of students do is they type in Springford like this, and then they search, and no organizations found. That's because that's not how you spell Springford. What I recommend is just type in Spring and hit search, and you'll be able to find that Springford pops up right here so that you don't have to worry about accidentally applying with the wrong high school. That's really important because that's how we will be able to transfer your grades over when you take the course. They want to know what month you attended from and when you're going to graduate. Since this is Springford High School that they're asking about, they want to know when you started at the actual high school. So you're only going to list in here when you started with Springford High School. So for most of you, that's going to be freshman year, August of 2017 or 2018. It could also be if you transferred in a different month or year, you want to make sure you put in exactly when you started. You're also going to put in your graduation, anticipated graduation date of June of 2021 or 2022, depending on if you're a junior or senior. And we'll go ahead and jump onto the next section here, additional information. So when you go through this, it's going to ask some basic information about your parents. You'll notice that none of this is required. It is statistical information that they're gathering here on ethnicity and military involvement. So if you do not feel comfortable filling that out, you can skip that or you can fill it out. That's up to you. Certification and signature page is just one page saying that you attest that all of this information is correct to the best of your knowledge. You'll put in your initials right here. So I don't know why they give you the extra fourth letter. I guess you could have two middle names or two last names, but first initial, middle initial, last initial is perfectly fine. You're going to go ahead and hit submit application. Once you hit submit application, that's going to trigger them to create a Monco ID number for you. And if I go over to my account, you'll see, it's trying to get me to complete my application still. When you go back to my account, you'll see that there is a section here where it has your student ID number. Now, since I did not complete my application, no ID number is popping up here. And chances are when you complete your application, it won't populate right away. Some students will get lucky and it'll be there right away and they'll be able to move on. If there is no ID number here. You're going to receive it in your email within 24 to 48 hours. It will have your Monco ID number, and it will also have your username for logging into your Monco account. You're only going to use the username and password that you created here for your application. So chances are you're not going to need to use that one again. You're going to switch over and use the Monco ID and ID that they email you to be able to log into your Monco account to pay your bill and other things like that. So once you have your Monco ID number, your next step is going to be actually registering for the class. So you're going to go to mc3.edu/BEREG. And once you're on this page, you're going to actually sign up for the courses that you plan to take. And the reason why we haven't opened up course registration until this point is because you actually need to know when you're taking the class to be able to register for the class this way. So you're going to go ahead and put in the student's first name and last name. Again, parents, don't sign yourself up for this class by accident. Your high school graduation year and your Monco ID. Don't forget, it's your Monco ID, not your Springford ID. And your student email address. And they may be sending you important information about your class, so make sure you're checking whatever email you put here. Do not put your Springford email address here. You will not receive any emails if you use your Springford email address here. You need to use your personal email address so that you can receive emails from Monco about billing and other things. Student phone number, again, should all be student information, and then high school. When you click on high school, there's going to be a drop down and you can select Springford. Once I select Springford, you'll see it says courses are not available for registration yet. That's because I'm recording this video before they become available for you. When you try to register, once registration opens on Friday afternoon, you'll see a list of all of the courses here that Springford is offering for the year. And what you need to do is check your Springford schedule and see when you are registered to take the class and make sure you are signing up for the correct class at the correct time. That's really important. I do not have control over when you're taking the class. So I cannot move your registration. If you register for the fall and you're actually taking in the spring, I cannot move your registration from fall to spring. You will have to actually drop the class through Monco. There's a whole online form for that. And then you're going to have to re-register for the course for the spring. So you don't want to make that mistake. It's going to create a whole lot more work for you. So when you go in here, you're going to select, if you're taking speech in the fall, you'll select fall speech. And if you're taking strategies for college success in the spring, you would select spring strategies for college success. So all the courses that are available will be listed there, and you can just check off whatever you're taking for the full year. And you do want to select your course for the fall and the spring at this point, so that way you don't have to come back on and try and register again. Then you're going to come through here. You do want to read this to make sure that you understand what your responsibility as a student is for these courses. And you're going to put in your parent information here. This is also really important because your parent has a form that they need to fill out to basically allow you to take this course through Monco, because you're still a student, so they do need parent permission. So you're going to fill out this information, and whatever parent email you list here, that's the parent that's going to receive the email saying whether or not you're allowed to take the course, and they need to sign off that you're allowed to take the course. So make sure that you find out exactly what your parent email is and that that is accurate. You're also going to do your student signature. If you click on it, you'll either be able to type your name in, or if you would prefer to do an actual signature, that's not going to let me here, but it also lets you draw in this box. So you can go ahead and draw your signature in. But you would hit done. It pops up on there. You usually don't want to do both, but I just wanted to show you a quick example of how you could do both. You'll click validate form first. That's going to check your form for errors. I didn't fill anything out, so mine's full of errors, but it should pop up and say that your form is error-free, and then you can hit submit. Once you hit submit here, you've only done the student portion of the registration. Your parent still needs to sign off on you taking this course. So you can do one of two things. Your parent can check the email that you listed in here for the Monco email, and they can click on the link that's in that email to sign off on you taking the course. Or if you're trying to get this done in a hurry and you just want to get the next step done, you can go to mc3.edu/DE parent to access the form right away. And you'll notice that it says dual enrollment parental consent form at the top. That's how you know you're on the correct form. And it's asking for parent information here. So you're going to put your parent information up at the top. And the next section is asking for student information. If you click on the link that was emailed to you, this section will be pre-filled out. If you are just jumping right on through going to mc3.edu/DE parent, you will have to fill this information out. It's going to be connected to you through your name, your Monco ID number, and your high school. So they will know that you're giving permission for your student to take whatever courses they registered for. And you can read through what you're agreeing to here. It has the costs of the courses listed in here. It has their drop policies and all of that. And when you come over here, you can either, like I said, sign your name in the box, or you can go ahead and type it in here and it will pop up right there. And that is your signature, and you can just go ahead and hit submit, and that will finalize your registration for Monco. So you need to do all of those steps in order to register. You need to get your Monco ID number by applying to the dual enrollment program. You need to go in and actually register for the course on the student registration form, which is, again, this form right here, mc3.edu/DEREG. And then you also need to register for the course by having your parent fill out the parental consent form at mc3.edu/DE parent. And once you've done all of those things, you are completely registered for the class. The next step would be to pay for the course. Like I said, you should be getting an email notification or something in the mail telling you that you have a bill due. But you can also go to mc3.edu and you can click log in the top right corner. And here it's going to have you log into your Monco account. So this is not the same username and password that you use to apply to your Monco dual enrollment program. This is going to be the username that they email to you. So it's usually your first initial, your last name, and the last 4 digits of your Monco ID number. And then you will need to create a password. So the first time you come on here, you're going to click that you need login assistance. And you are going to need to set up your initial password, and it will take you through the steps to go ahead and set up that initial password. And once you set up your password, you will be able to go back to the sign-in page and log in. And on the left-hand side, I do not have an actual account with Monco because I did not complete the application process. But once you get in there, on the left-hand side, there's going to be a tab for you to pay your tuition or pay your bill. So once you click on that, your bill will pop up and you'll be able to pay online with a credit card or bank account. So that's an option. It will also give you information if you wanted to pay with a check, how you would mail that in and send that payment in as well. So keep an eye on that. Once you submit that parent release form, this is not going to pop up in your account immediately. You may have to give it 24 to 48 hours for you to be able to go in and pay that amount. So that's it. That's all of your steps to making sure that you are registered. So make sure you are doing all of that, like I said, prior to the start of classes on September 8th. It is mandatory for you to complete that registration. And if you are interested in the senior privileges as far as arriving late or leaving early, you will not be allowed to do that unless you have successfully completed your registration for your classes. So keep that in mind. That's not something that's going to be available this fall because we are entering into the red phase virtually. But once we move on to the green phase, that is something seniors will be able to take advantage of. So keep that in mind too. That privilege is still out there. Like I said, if you have any questions or any problem with registering for your dual enrollment class, please feel free to reach out to me. My name is Trisha Benner and my email is tben, and it's Ben with two N's, at spring-ford.net. We're happy to help. So good luck with your fall semester and spring semester dual enrollment classes.